Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Trading Academy. As always, I am your host, Josh Lilquist, with my good friend and my good pal, Mr. Al Connickson. In the last segment, we covered strategies, especially with stocks, on how to create an income strategy, steps within that. We have GoDaddy that's showing great opportunities to the upside, Tesla struggling a little bit, 3M looking good, Disney in a potential demand zone. So opportunities in multi-directions, up and down. And we talked about the great opportunities you have with that, so which means all market conditions are good conditions. And we had a lot of people calling and texting in for these investing classes where we introduce you to these techniques and concepts. And these are 2-hour classes that we do all across the metro here. We have these classes in Bloomington. That's where our state-of-the-art facility is at. We have in Edina, Wayzata, Maple Grove, Woodbury, Eau Claire. Where else are we? Gosh, all over the metro. So that way we're coming to a neighborhood near you. That way, if you don't like to drive, well, we'll be right near you. So to come into one of these classes, just call or text the word trading, and that's going to be to the number 952-905-0975. So call or text the word trading to the number 952-905-0975. We make sure to get you a call back if you text in. And make sure we find a date that works the best for you. We have these classes on the weekdays, weekends, evenings, so pretty much anybody can attend, no matter the schedule. For you 9-to-5ers, it works just fine for you. Call or text the word trading to the number 952-905-0975, or go to learnwithota.com and pick your own date. Also, we appreciate our subscribers on the podcast. That has been getting some phenomenal traction. You have been making this our wish to begin to be the global podcast on the financial market. So we appreciate that. That's Investing and Trading Live. Wherever you listen to your podcast, that's Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Or you can go just to my name on YouTube and check out all the outtakes on the YouTube channel as well. So Al, on this next segment, I want to continue that discussion about income strategies, but you kind of ended that last segment on the ideal job. So I want to paint a picture here for you first. The ideal job that a lot of people are listening right now are probably thinking this is what it is. Sitting on a beach, maybe it's in a different country, maybe it's Florida or California, wherever that may be. Maybe it's the East Coast, West Coast, whatever it is. And having a pina colada, maybe listening to some tunes, hanging out with the family, waves are going, and you sit there and you're just making a whole bunch of money, and you don't have to do anything for it. That's what everybody is picturing right now, because why? That's what you see online. You see videos about this stuff online, people with their Lamborghinis. They don't have to do anything because they're just filthy rich because of whatever reason. Well, newsflash, I think most people know that stuff is not realistic. To be successful in anything, it does take a little bit of work, right? So even the financial markets, it's not a get-rich-quick thing. It's a skill that you can build, but it takes steps within that. Now, Al, I'm guessing because this is a financial show, the ideal job might be some sort of financial market relation to it, but I want you to just describe what you mean by that ideal job as a realistic expectation.
Yeah, what I'm talking about isn't necessarily a job. I mentioned in that first segment that the people that are truly financially secure have multiple sources of income.
Sure.
It's not multiple jobs. But kind of, if you want to look at it as a job, this is what I think. You mentioned a lot of the things that are part of the ideal job. There's nothing wrong with sitting on a beach drinking a pina colada or two, your beverage of choice. And so maybe you want to go skiing and trade while you're on the lift. You can do whatever you want, wherever you want. But here's this is my idea of an ideal job. And everybody listening might have their own idea. But what about this? What if you could choose when and how often you actually did it? What if you could choose where you wanted to do it? We mentioned the beach, the ski areas. So you can be sitting in the middle of the lake fishing if you want to. You choose where you want to do it. And you can go, if you don't like where you are, you can move and do it somewhere else. What if you could take off anytime you wanted to and not work whenever you didn't want to work, or you work when you wanted to work? What if you could control your income and not let somebody else do that for you, and actually you're not making money for someone else. You're making it for yourself. All the profits stay with you. Those are the components, I think, of what would be kind of an ideal job. You can duplicate everything I just said if you learn how to trade in the markets. And what I'm talking about are the financial markets. A lot of people have just been exposed to and know about the stock market and the bond market. Well, things have changed. I mentioned that over the years, things have changed really in our favor. There's a lot of technological advancements. It's revolutionized the way we trade and invest. With the mobile apps and the trading platforms, again, you can go anywhere that there's an internet and you can trade. We're in an environment of market volatility right now, and for a lot of people, that volatility is daunting and scary, but it presents numerous opportunities. That's where the opportunities come from.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, if you learn how to navigate those volatile markets and you capitalize on the price fluctuations, which is what volatile markets provide, it can be incredibly lucrative for the people that have the right skills. And you have to admit, everybody listening, you know that there are people that are participating in the markets that do very well and do actually have incredibly lucrative returns. If someone's doing it, the opportunity is there for you to do it too. And then also, beyond stocks and bonds, which most people are familiar with, there's a lot of other things now. The investment landscape has changed. Beyond the traditional stocks and bonds, you've got things like cryptocurrency, commodities, your favorite, lean hogs. Alternative assets like options in the currency markets, the foreign exchange market. Those are all available to us as retail traders, and they provide some significant opportunities. But listen to this. If your only source of income is from your job, what's your safety net? What if your job is gone? What if your salary doesn't keep up with inflation, which for most people it hasn't been? What if you go through a medical emergency or a divorce or inflation comes roaring back again? What is your plan B? If you don't have a plan B and you're just relying on your job, and we see this all the time, Josh, people that thought they had a secure career, a secure position, all of a sudden found themselves without it, and then nothing to rely on, nothing to fall back on. So having these additional sources of income can be a huge benefit to you. It can provide not only a safety net if something happens, but it also gives you the opportunity to generate additional income and have the potential to build wealth.
Yeah, so if you're that entrepreneurial mind where you like to have multiple sources of income, because that's, as Al was alluding to, that's how you create wealth. But I think the big takeaway there is people are looking for more freedom of time and location. And as long as you have an internet connection, investing and trading can be done anywhere. So in these investing classes that I'm going to give away seats to here in a second, we cover those concepts and those techniques and what that might look like. Is it right for everybody? No. But if you have an opportunity to see what it's about, wouldn't it be advantageous to take that first step? So come into these classes simply by just calling or texting the word trading to the number 952-905-0975. If you're driving, you might want to pull over. Call or text the word trading to the number 952-905-0975, or go online, just go to learnwithota.com. So Al, a couple things about what you were commenting about is most people have a job somewhere, and maybe it's one job. And we've had a lot of listeners that have been coming in and have been doing very well financially, as you talked about, but the problem is inflation has been eating that up. So they need multiple income strategies, right? So the problem with their job is they're capped. If you have a salary, say you have $150,000, $200,000 salary, you're capped at that. So you're still living off a fixed income, if you think about it. Now, the market actually has a potential to have an unlimited income strategy, because all you have to do is scale it is just by adding more dollars to it. I always encourage people, start small no matter where you start. Right. I don't care how much money you have. Start as small as you can. Become consistent, become confident and comfortable with those trades and investments. And then you don't have to buy equipment, hire employees. All you need to do is change the dollar amount to scale, and that's how you build that business.
Right, yeah. The important thing is start learning how to do this with consistency, and then that scaling becomes, the next step for you.
Yeah, then you have no cap, right? There's no cap to what your earnings are. Now, there are ways to get started like this by using leverage, so you can officially start small. Stocks is very difficult to start small. If you want to trade more than 4 times a week, you're required to have $25,000 in your account trading stocks. So with futures and the Forex market, like you mentioned earlier, why are those good starting points for people that want to have an income strategy in their life?
Well, the great thing about those, a number of great things, and that's why most of our students want to trade futures, Forex, and options. Number one, they have leverage, which means that every dollar that you have in your account can control a multiple of that dollar. It could be 50 times that, or 100 times, or 200 or 300 times that. So leverage is really key. It allows you to start with a small amount of money and then build on that. And then also futures and Forex trade basically 24 hours a day, so it gives you a lot of different opportunities. And one of the great components of that ability to trade that almost around the clock is you have a much better chance of managing risk and managing your portfolio. But it gives people that work 6 hours or the 8 hours a day during the 6.5 hours that the market's open, gives them an opportunity to trade when they have the time to do that. But I think having the ability to start with a small amount of money, because when you look at a lot of the stocks that are out there that are worth trading now, the ones that you mentioned, a couple of them, you mentioned Tesla, people are familiar with NVIDIA now, Apple obviously, Facebook, Google.
All those ones that are in the news, basically.
Those are the big ones that have driven the market. Those are the ones that have the big movement, up and down movement. Those are the ones that really can provide significant potential for you, but they're expensive. So if you want to have a number of shares in a portfolio that give you the ability to actually make some money, I mean, one share, if something goes up $10 or $20, one share is not going to give you a lot of money. A lot of people like to put together a 100-share position. For some stocks, that could be $80, $90, $100,000, $20,000 in one position. But when you use some of these leveraged assets, it allows you to start with a number that could be well below $1,000 a share. I mean, for the full position, not per share. It could be, you could do an option position on a stock that maybe trades at $800 or $900. You could do an option position that could be $300, $400, $500. It gives you the opportunity to still benefit from the movement of that asset, that high-priced stock, but at a much lower investment on your part. Plus, the return, the potential return, can be much greater. If an underlying stock, an option, for example, is a contract you trade on something, on an underlying, could be a stock. So if you do an option on a stock like Apple, for example, if Apple's up 10%, a rule of thumb is that the option is going to be up somewhere between 100 and 200%. So number one, you start with a much smaller investment. Instead of $22,000 in a position, maybe you've got $400 or $500 in a position. Stock goes up 10%, your investment goes up 100, 200%. What if you're totally wrong? What if Apple closes their door tomorrow and you have a $20,000 position in Apple stock? There goes $20,000. With the option, the most you could possibly lose would be that $400 or $500 you have in the position. But we're also going to show you how to manage risk, so even that isn't at risk.
Yeah, the key is to use really the least amount of money as possible to have the best possible opportunity. By using leverage in the financial markets that's available, just like a mortgage, people use a small amount of money to control their whole house.
Right.
They do that in their everyday life, but don't even know it's available in the market. So we introduce these concepts, these techniques, how the futures market actually works, how the Forex market works, how the options market works, so that way you can put your dollars and have them work for you rather than going out to work for your dollars like an hourly wage. So I want to introduce you to these in these investing classes. Al teaches these classes all the time. I teach them as well. And we have a great time with all the good people coming in that want to do more. They want to be better secure and have more confidence, whether it's in their working years and really is building for retirement as well. That's what a lot of people have as far as objective. So to come into one of these investing classes, call or text the word trading to the number 952-905-0975. That's 952-905-0975. Or you can go online. Just go to learnwithota.com and you can pick your own seats there. Learnwithota.com. Al, we got a lot more to discuss. Great moves in the markets, especially towards the second part of the week. Stay tuned. This is Josh and Al, Investing and Trading Live. We'll be right back.